Dear students and working accountants, welcome to my Export Tally Prime YouTube channel. My name is Baburao from Hyderabad. Today in Tally, we are going to learn about the groups and groups, ledgers and voucher types. So what is meant by the groups, types, the ledgers and the voucher types, and what are the default groups and all these things we are going to learn. So here I am sharing the screen. Here you see the previous videos. So the Tally, we discussed about how to download, how to install the Tally Prime, and how to activate the license, and how to start reactivating the license, and how to open or start the Tally Prime, and how to close the Tally Prime, and if there is any old version or old releases, how to migrate the data in that version or Tally. So how to migrate the data into the current version, current release, and all these things we have done. And then to work in the Tally Prime, we require the companies. That is the company in which we are going to record. That's why we have to create the company. How to create the company? How to change? How to create a company? And we can create any number of companies. So if you have more number of companies, how to change the company? We are recording in one company, and we have to change it to another company to record. So how to change the company? How to select among all the companies? How to select a particular company to work in that? And how to alter any address in the creation of the company, and if you don't want, how to delete the company, and also how to shut in the gateway of Tally. There are many companies, how to shut in one and one word. Any company, how to shut means close down in the closing or omitting or deleting or removing in the Tally and in gateway of Tally only. It will be omitted or removed from the gateway of Tally, but it will be available in the database. And in the database, that is called shut the company. And in the database itself, that is in the select company page, if you have to delete that, that is remove that, that is called as delete the company. How to delete that? And say I am going to share. I am sharing the screen. So I shared already. So in this case, you see here, there are many companies. So in this case, when you open the Tally, sometimes by default, so if you have many number of companies, see in the company, if you select that, it will load in the gateway of Tally. It will load in the gateway of Tally. But here, by default, the first company, so in this case, Tally Prime latest releases, they have 6 digits. That is, they start with 1 lakh. So the first company will be, the number will be 1 lakh, and every company will have one more, 1, 2, 3, 1 lakh 1, 1 lakh 2, 1 lakh 3, like that. By default, when you open the company, directly, number 1 company, here it is, 1 lakh means is composition, this one. So automatically when you open the company, directly it will load in the gateway of Tally. So that is called default loading. If you want that, you can have that, we can use it. And also in the file location page, in the file location, if you click the what you call the concerned component settings, that is called as settings. If you go to the settings, there if the default setting, default loading of the company, make it yes, it will be yes by default. So automatically the number 1 company, first company will load automatically. So we can change that number, so to another number. So from then that company will load. If you have more companies, you can give the numbers one by one, 10 lakhs, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 10, 1 lakh 5, like that. If you give that and save, all the companies will be loaded automatically by default. Or here is only 1 company is loaded automatically. If you give more, all the companies will be loaded. You change this number, automatically the other number will change. So that number company will be loaded automatically. Like that, you can do any number. You don't want to any company to load. I mean, by default, you don't want by default loading. You want to open directly the select company page or the database, so that among all the companies, we can select any company which we want to work. We can select. In that case, in the configuration settings, in the path configuration settings, we have to do that default loading. We have to give no. If we give no, so the Galley will not load any company by default. Only the select company page will open. So that we discussed. Default loading. And after that, company features under this one. So you see, when a company is created, I told that when the company is creating, I showed that features. We skipped it. Now we are discussing. See, for example, I created this company. How we will create? See, here we'll go to create page and we'll create. It is here. So the creation page will be like this. So we will create the company. After creating the company, here we accept like this at the end, or you can do here. Here you can press Control A. Directly it will go. Directly it will accept. So when the company is created, and after that, when we accept or save this company, directly from here it will go to company features. Here I will show you. It will go to company features like that. So it will go to the features page. These are the features which are the features we require for this company. So these features are limited to this company only. So the list of features will be same. So in this case, whatever features you want, you can use them. To use them, we have to what you call it as not activation. We have to enable them. So whatever features we want, we have to enable. Making yes is called enabling. If you don't want, you can make it no. It is called disabling. So whatever features we want, we can enable the features. And after enabling the features, whatever features you want, you can enable. And after enabling the features, just click, you can come to the end. So directly you can come to the end and you can accept. Otherwise, whatever feature we made, and after that, the thing is to be altered, then directly Control A. So we can guess and we can accept. So features we completed. They are called as the company features. These company features are limited only to that particular company. So we here, when it is created, directly we will go to the features. And after that, that is the company will be old. So whenever you want some features to be enabled, some features to be disabled later, then you have to go to that page, that is company, what you call features page, by pressing F11. So this is company features page. Or here, it will be no. We have to, first of all, it will be no. Okay, only this will be available. Then you open the company, you create a company and come to this page. Then you have to more features, make it yes. Then again it will show more features and this will be no. This will be no. More features means it will show some more. Here, all features, you have to make it yes again. So all the features will be shown. And among these features are limited to this company only for a trading company. So if you enable a feature, that will be enabled in this company only. For all the other companies, it will not be enabled. If disable, for example, if I disable this, if I make it no, if I disable revise entry, if I disable, so this will be disabled only in this company. So these features list is the same. This will not change, and this feature will be limited to this company only. They will not enable or disable in other companies. This is about the features. This is called as, we go to, suppose if you want to go to this page, we have to press F11. That is why these features are also called company features. So these features we have to enable. Okay, then after completing creating the company immediately, or after some time, you go to F11, then you enable the whatever features you want, you have to enable. Then Control A, accept. This is accepted, and this company is loaded. That is why This is called as company features. The other one is I already explained you. Another one is configuration, means they are also called as some configuration settings. They are also called configuration settings. So in this case, configuration settings means we cannot this F11 features even in a gateway of Tally F11 you can use, you can get, and when you are making entries here, you can use F11 or whatever you are doing. Suppose you are in somewhere, the profit and loss account, F11 features. Wherever you are, you can use the F11 features to enable or disable. But in the case of configuration, they are also called as company features. They are called. This is a configuration is configuration settings. These configuration settings will be available only when you are working in the Tally. When you are working, wherever you are working, there some settings if you want. These settings are to be features are enabled or disabled. But these company features, they are to be activated. They are to be activated or deactivated. So they can be activated and deactivated at any place we are working. So they will do the settings. So in this case, F11 feature, they are available for this company only, and the list of the features are same. It is fixed. But in the case of F12 configuration setting, these settings will be available wherever you are working. The settings relating to that work only will be shown. For example, here we are in the payment voucher. Vouchers, you are in voucher. In the vouchers, if you go to F12, they will show some settings. Whatever setting you want, you have to make it. Yes, here enabling means it is not called enabling like feature. It is called as activating. Activating the setting. Activating the setting. So in this case, activating a setting means it will be activated in all the companies in the Tally. So what are the companies here? We have many companies. So if you go to the settings, configuration settings, this configuration settings will be activated or deactivated. When you activate, it will be activated in all the companies. So this configuration settings will be applicable to all the companies. So features will be applicable only to one particular company. Settings will be applicable to the whole data, whole Tally means for all the companies. You make a one setting and you activate one setting, that will be activated in all the companies. So that's why in this case, wherever you are working, wherever you are only working the vouchers, then only this configuration settings will be available. And also in any screen you are working, if you go to the configuration settings, the settings relating to that place, that screen, relating to the screen only available. Here you see, here we are working in vouchers. You press F12, so these are the settings. So if you are going to some other place, the day book, here, F12. So here, the configuration settings pertaining to this day book only will be shown here. See, configuration, how to show. So day book report, how to show the report. So this is completely different. If you are in the vouchers, so here F12, it is completely different. So if you are in the profit and loss account, we go to F12, so it will be different. Like that, this configuration will be different depending on the screen where you are working. The settings related to that screen only will be displayed. If they are activated, they will be activated in all the companies. For example, so in this company, here, configuration settings in this company. Here, if you go to vouchers, generally I told you by default, this what you call this in the case of this double entry, single entry, double entry, single entry. Single entry is different. Single entry means here to show like this. Okay, we'll come to it when you are making the vouchers. Yeah, double entry means showing both debit and credit as one by one. Here in this case, just like ledger and the manual accounting, it will show two by. By means debit, two means credit. So if you work with this, if you want, you can work like this. Debit, credit, instead of debit, use by. Instead of credit, we use two here. This will take by default to show. So you can work, but using two and by will be a problem. Definitely, you will get confused, so we'll make mistake. That's why by means it is debit. By mistake, we take it as credit or debit. And in the case of 2, it is credit. By mistake, we can take it as debit. So it will happen. So that is why we will get confused definitely at one place. We will be working happily, but sometimes we will get confused, lot of chance. That is why instead of this, so in this case, so here, by and 2. And if you go to some other company, sorry, we go to some other company, suppose this is one company. Okay, in this company, so here also we go to voucher, we go to payment, it is also saying by. By means by 2. Next line it will show 2. First it shows 2, next it will be by. So 2 and by it will use. So it is using 2 and by. So this company also is using 2 and by. So if you go to some other company also, suppose if you go to some other company, here also we go to voucher to show 2 and by only. You show it 2 and by only. That is why instead of that, if you go to F12 configuration, so here F12 configure, you can click that, or you can click F12 in our key. You click that here, the first itself, here it will also show no. No is to show very few configuration settings. To make it yes, to show all the settings. Here first line itself, use credit debit instead of 2 by during voucher entry. When you are making the entries, use debit credit CRDR. Use that instead of 2 and by, make it yes. Then you'll use C here, debit. So debit, next line it will show credit. If it is credit, next line it will show debit. So it is using debit and credit. This is the company. This is Raja Traders. Go to this company. In this company also showing debit and credit. So and go to some other company here. Raj Traders, in this case also. Go to voucher. So debit credit. Like this configuration settings will be activated not for one company, to be activated in all the companies. We activate the configuration setting in any company, in any screen, and the same activation setting will be activated in all the other companies also. So this will be applicable to the whole company. This as we have already discussed. Now, after making this, now we have to here. Close all this. I close. Then I take this one, only one company. And here also one more thing is, here all the companies will be available. By default, I told you already, by default, now first company will be loaded in the screen. Otherwise, if you don't want that in the configuration setting to make default loading, no, it will not load any company directly. We will come to the select company page. So in the select company page, first this is the newly created, for example. I told you this one is newly created, and the configuration settings are not required now when I am working. And the company features, we selected whatever company features we enabled. And after enabling that, after accepting control A, then we came to this. So in this company, we had to work. Or from the select company page, we selected the company, entered. So the company is loaded in the gateway. After gateway means the gate to enter into the selected company. There will be many companies. This is the selected company will be shown here because our work will be done in this. So selected company, we have to enter into the selected company through the gate. That's why this is called gateway of tally. So from this gateway, we have to enter into the company. Okay, now we are entering into the company. We are working, we have to work in the company. Working means recording the transactions. For recording the transactions in the gateway of tally, what are all the requirements here? Masters, transactions, reports, everything here. Masters means they are just like ledgers, they will be created. The masters will be created. They will be once you create, it will be forever. It will not close them unless you delete that, it will be available. So we have to create the masters. In the masters, next one is transaction. In this transaction, we have to record the transactions. That is the second one, record transactions. Utilities, banking means we have to work about bank for some work will be done, not entries. Other work will be done in the banking. And then reports. So whatever work is done, total will be shown in the form of reports. Some reports are shown here. Many more reports will be shown. Display more reports. These are all the reports. Okay. So like this is the gateway of tally. In the first one is masters. We have to create the masters. So masters means what are the masters? So if you go to create, if you go to create, so it will show what are the masters you are doing. So if you go to create, so these are all the accounting masters. Here, masters we are going to create. So what are the masters? Accounting masters, inventory masters, statutory masters, all these masters, accounts, lake accounts, we have to create. So in this, the main thing is, here, most important thing is accounting masters. In the accounting masters, in all these cases, we have to create. In all the cases, we have to create, but in the accounting masters, we have to create, because in the accounting masters, most of the masters will be required. They are required for any company. All these masters will be required for any company, and all other things we have to create. So in this case, accounting master, there are four types. One is group, another is ledger, next currency, next voucher type. Here, to record a transaction, we read ledger accounts. That is called ledger. And in this case, if you create a ledger, at open a ledger account, just like in the manual accounting opening account making debit credit, that's called opening a ledger account. Here it is called ledger account is created. Ledger means ledger account. Ledger created. So in this case, each ledger, that is each ledger account, is to be placed under one group depending on the nature of the ledger. For example, we are paying salary. So it is expense. So for that, we have to keep that in one group. The group means depending on the voucher, that is on the ledger, we use the group. So in this case, here, salary means it is a expense in the office. It is called as indirect expense. So the indirect expense group we have to direct expense group. And we are purchasing furniture. So furniture are purchasing. It is an asset and it is a fixed asset. So we have to take it as a fixed asset. The group we have to use fixed asset. That is the purchased furniture or computer. They have to be placed under the group fixed assets. Like that, depending on the nature of the ledger, we have to place that ledger in one particular group. So we require many groups. So in this case, and then ledger means we have to create whatever the ledger accounts we want to create. And the currency means what is the currency of India? It is only Indian currency. Okay. And then voucher types. Voucher type means, see here, in the manual accounting, we record in a book by hand, we record in a book. But here, we will not record in a book. We record in the computer. So in the computer, the place where we record the transaction is called a voucher. So depending on the nature of the transaction we have to record each and every transaction in a particular voucher. So depending on the nature. For example, purchasing goods, we have to enter the purchase voucher. Then we are paying the expenses. Expenses are paying some money to the creditor. So we are making the payment. So we have to enter the payment voucher. Like that, each transaction will be recorded in a particular place called as voucher. So there will be many vouchers. So this is called voucher types. So in the accounting masters, by default, when you create a company, by default, the tally will create automatically by default groups, ledgers, currency, voucher types. It will, because these are required for any type of business, for any business they are required. That is why they will, by default, they will create, 1 minute, by default. So by default, so these are already created. We have to actually, if you want these all required, so either group, ledger, currency, or voucher type, if you want to create any master, you have to go to the create button and you have to select whichever you want, and that you have to create. You want a ledger you have to create, so creation of ledger button. And if you want to create a group, so this is the button, this is the page for group creation. Like that, we have to create. But in this case, by default, by default, by default, groups, some ledgers, currency, and voucher types, these are all required for any type of business, for all the business they are required. That is why they are created by default in the tally when the company is created. So here, groups, and here there are 28 groups by default they are created. In ledgers, there are 2 ledgers by default they are created. Currency is only one Indian rupee, that's all. And then voucher types, to record the voucher, the transactions in the voucher, we require the voucher. So depending on the transactions, we have to record in the voucher. There are by default 24 types of vouchers. So 28 groups and 2 ledgers, currency is one. Okay. And then voucher types are 24 voucher types there. Okay, they're already created. But here, this is the create button. So if you go to there, you have to create that's all. We cannot see. You have to create that's all. But they are already created. That is why to see them, to view the already masters created, you have to go to alter button. You know here, when company is created, to view that company, you have to go to alter button. We can see the company and we can make alteration. If you don't want, we can delete by Alt D. So we can delete the company, and if you have to make some mistake, we can alter that. So all these things you can do. Okay, you can view the company created, or we can alter, we can delete. Similarly here, you go to alter page, the masters which are created, we can view them, we can alter them. If you don't want anyone, you can delete them. Same thing we can do here also. But one more thing is, in the alter button, we can make creation also. Here, create button, we will create any master. We can create any master, that's all. But in this alter button, you can view the masters created, we can make alteration, that is change, or we can delete if you don't want, you can delete all these things. In addition to that, we can create also. So in every page, generally, there will be one button on the top, create. So in any page, you can create anything. So if you go to this one, here, here, see, in this case, this is the, what is this? Master alteration button. In this alteration also, we showing masters, accounting masters, and all these things. In the accounting masters, groups, I told you, it will show already by default 28 groups will be created or will be available. So read that. So they will be shown only list of them. See here, but actually it is showing only 20. No, 24 it is showing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 28, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and it's showing many. So these are all. These are some ratios are also there. Okay. Groups means it is showing only 28 groups will be there. So they are showing. So, and if you go to ledgers, only 2 ledgers will be created because these 2 are required for any business. But other, depending on the business, all other ledgers will be created because for every business, for different businesses, we require different ledgers. So those ledgers are to be created. But for any company, this cash and profit and loss account is required for any business. That is why only these 2 are created. So by default, 2 ledgers, 28 groups are created. 28 groups are created. So in any page, this is group, list of group, and this is list of ledgers. Any page on the top, there is one button, create. So instead of going to create button, in the alter page itself, we can make, you can review, alter, delete, and we can create also. So if you get create button, so the same button scheme will appear here. Okay, like this. So groups, there will be 28 groups. Ledgers, there will be 2. And currency, there is only one in the group. So rupees and voucher types. These voucher types are 24. 24, but here they are showing only 20. Okay, in another place, you can see 24. Okay, total 24. So totally in this groups, 28 and ledgers 2. That's all. And you want more, you have to create. And generally, only these 28 are enough. You want to create any new group, you can go to the create button, you can create, no problem. But mostly these 28 groups are enough. Ledgers 2. So only these two. So many ledgers we require, except these two. All other group, ledgers, we have to create these two. Any ledger or any master, you create only once. To create again, it will show already exists. The name already exists. So cash and profit and loss account is already by default created. So we cannot create. If you want to create again, it will show error. So it will show the name already exists. That's why these two will not be created. All other ledgers we have to create. And groups, these groups are enough. And then voucher types 24. It is showing 20 here only. Some more. So that will be shown in some other place. You can see. Okay. So now voucher types only to record the transaction that what your voucher for sales. See here, when you purchase, we will enter in this purchase voucher. We sell the goods, we enter the sales goods, sale of goods, we make some payment. So in the payment voucher, if you receive some amount or anything, this will be shown in the receipt voucher. Contra voucher, you pay in the bank or deposit in the bank or withdraw from the bank. So it will be shown in the contra. And then debit note, credit note, they will learn about them later. This debit note, credit note, they are used for purchase returns and sales returns and some other purpose also. Mostly purchase returns and sales returns, we use debit note, credit note. This is debit note, credit note is not the ledger. It is the voucher. In this voucher, we enter the purchase returns or sales returns. The debit note, credit note, we use for purchase returns and sales returns. Account will be entered inside in the voucher. This is the voucher name. In this voucher, just like a book, in this voucher, we enter the sales return. There we read ledger will be sales returns only. So in this vouchers, we enter the ledger names and we enter the transaction. So these, in this case, ledger voucher types. So it's 28. You know, if you want to, sometimes you have to create some more. So if you want to create, you can create. Even if you create, you can create the some more voucher types. And okay, and these ledgers we have to create. Go to the create button. Only two are created. It's okay. Currency is okay, but only here we have to learn. Here, these are the ledgers. And here we have to learn about the ledgers. All the ledgers are listed, but we have to bifurcate them actually. There are, that is groups. So there are totally 28 groups in the Tally Prime. There are 28 default groups. They are created already. So in the, these groups are divided into two types. One is primary groups, secondary groups. Primary groups are also called as main groups. Secondary groups are also called subgroups. So there will be main groups. Under them, some subgroups will be there. Primary groups, 15 primary groups and 13 subgroups will be there. They are called as default groups. So main groups, 15. Subgroups, 13. Primary groups are main groups, 15. Secondary groups are subgroups, 13. So in this case, secondary groups, all the 13 secondary groups will be, every secondary group will be under a primary group. Under one primary group, secondary group will be there. In some primary groups, main groups, there will be no secondary group. Here is here. In this case, it has secondary group, it has secondary group, it has secondary group. These two, they don't have the secondary group. So here, and then here, these are the groups. In these three main groups, no secondary groups. So these all the 13 secondary groups will be in the balance sheet only. That is, in the balance sheet, there will be 9 primary groups. Out of the 15 main groups, 9 will be in the balance sheet and balance 6 will be in the profit and loss account, 6. So there will be no secondary groups, only primary. So 6 primary groups in the profit and loss account, 9 primary groups in the balance sheet. So total, 9 plus 6, 15 primary groups in the balance sheet. But the secondary groups, that all the 13 will be in the balance sheet only under the primary groups. So there will be no subgroup in the profit and loss account. We will have 1 by 1. So see, in the balance sheet, 3 will be in the liability side, 3 will be in the asset side, and some more 3. These 3, depending on the balance. So when you make entry in that, depending on the balance, if it is debit balance, it will be in the asset side. If it is a credit balance, it will be in the liability side. Okay, totally. And this is every primary group will have 1 or more secondary groups, and sometimes they don't have secondary group. So we will take up, first we will take up liabilities, capital. So the capital is the main group. Under that, reserves and surplus, reserve capital of the owners or proprietors, then reserves and surplus and retained earnings will be there. Under the generally, these reserves and surplus, retained earnings, they will be necessary, they will be available in the case of a company, that is joint stock company or other businesses, generally it will not. And then second one is loans. This is liability side. Loans liability, that is we borrowed money. In that case, says second one is secured loans, unsecured loans, bank OD. That is secured loans means we borrowed loans, purchase, we borrowed money, loan we have taken, but there is a, so we provided security. They are called secured loans. All the loans from any financial institutions, banks, they will take security, secured loans. And unsecured loans, without any security, we borrow by from friends or family, something. So unsecured loans. And in this bank OD, bank overdraft or OCC means in the bank, we will have some account, OD account. We will can withdraw. Even if you don't have money, up to a certain limit, we can withdraw money. They are called as bank overdraft. So these are the loans liability. These are the subgroups under the main group. And then current liability is the third one. In the current liabilities, duties and taxes, whatever duties and whatever tax you have to pay to the government, they are called as duties and taxes. Provisions, we make some provisions or some reserves we make to meet the future losses or expenses. They are called provisions. Then sundry creditors we have to pay. So these are the subgroups under current liabilities. Then we come to the asset side. Fixed assets, number 4, fixed assets, it will not have any subgroup. Then investments, it will not have any subgroup. Sixth one is current assets. Under the current assets, the subgroup is deposits. Number 8 is 7 and 8. Deposit assets. Any deposit. You see, for example, electricity deposit, telephone deposit, or any deposit for the GST registration, for anything, any deposits made with the government for the purpose of the business. Purpose of the business deposit. Okay, that's called as assets. And then number 9, under this current assets, loans and advances assets. Loans and advances, we have given loans. This is loans liability here. Here, this is loans and advances asset. Means we have given loans to some others or to the employees or to anybody outside us. We have given loans and we have given advances to our workers or anything, fixed advance like that. These are all will be entered in the current assets. Under the current assets, the secondary group will be under the loans and advances. Then sundry debtors, then cash on hand. Stock on hand is also called closing stock. It is also called stock in trade. Stock in trade, simply stock, stock on hand, closing stock, whatever it may be. Unsold goods. We purchase goods, sell goods. If any goods are unsold, they are called as stock. Stock on hand or closing stock. Then cash in hand. This cash in hand already created by default. Then bank accounts. So here bank OD is we have to pay to the government, pay to the bank. This liability. And here bank account means our current accounts in which we have money. Our money is available in there. They are called as current accounts. These current accounts will be shown here. Okay. So these are the main groups. And each group, what are the subgroups? The primary groups, secondary groups. And then next 3, these 3 will be shown depending on the balance. If debit balance, miscellaneous expenses or incomes means any expenses payable, outstanding expenses, or outstanding incomes, or expenses paid in advance, prepaid expenses. All this they come under the miscellaneous expenses or incomes. It may be debit asset or liability. It is a debit balance. It will be shown on the asset side. If it is a credit balance, it will be shown on the liability side. Okay, and then branch and division. So we have some branches. So we send goods to the branch. They will sell. They will send the money to us. So just like outsider, we deal with the branches also. So in the branch account we open, the branches of division also will have some balance. But in the debit balance, asset side, in the credit balance, liability side, it will be shown. And suspense account. In some cases, in the case of payments, we receive payment through bank. So we know that. So we enter in the bank account, but we cannot enter the person name. We don't know the person name. These are the person name from whom we received. So we will enter the suspense account. So till we find out. So suspense account will be shown. If it is a credit balance, it will be shown on the liabilities. Asset credit balance means liability side. If it is a debit balance, it will show on the asset side. After finding out whoever paid the money, so the suspense account will be removed. We enter the name personal account. Then this suspense account will be closed. Whenever you make the entries, you will get the suspense account will be closed. So these are the main groups. 15, 13 out of 15, 9 are in the balance sheet. All the 13 subgroups are in the balance sheet. And then the balance is 6. 9 are in the balance sheet. So the balance 6 will be shown in the profit and loss account. Expenses, purchases minus returns, direct expenses, indirect expenses. They are shown in the expenses side, means on the debit side. Then incomes means on the credit side of the profit. Credit side, sales minus returns, direct incomes, indirect incomes. Expenses will be on the debit side, incomes will be on the credit side. Purchase is also expense. So purchases, direct expense, indirect expenses. Sales is income. Sales minus returns, direct income, indirect. So like this, we will show the balance sheet. These are called the default groups. So these are the default groups. Okay. And these default groups and then ledgers. The ledgers, there are only default ledgers, only two, cash account and profit and loss account. And default voucher type that will be shown separately. Okay, they are 24. Okay, they are 24. We have to show the chart that I'll show you. Okay. So like this, they are showing, but here, so they are showing totally, if they are listing the groups, or as ledgers, they are listing only two, it's okay. But voucher types also, it is listing, isn't it? So what you have to do, you can do, see, you want to see clearly. Here you see, so here it is showing in the output page, it is showing the list only. But if you want to see like this, what are the main groups, what are the subgroups? Okay, so we'll create the ledger now. When you are creating the ledger, each ledger is to be placed in a particular group. And then under the groups, what are the ledgers we created? Main group, under the main group, some subgroup will be there. There is no subgroup, no problem. Main group, subgroup, under the subgroup only, create the ledger. So this list will be shown, main group, subgroup, and the ledger that will be shown in a different place, will be shown directly. So that will be shown in the chart of accounts. If you go to the chart of accounts, go to the chart of accounts, and all these groups, ledgers, and voucher types, they will show in a required manner. For example, you go to the groups, only groups will be shown. So what are the groups? Groups are two types, main groups, subgroups, and secondary groups. All these will be listed there. Here you see, go to group, you see here. It's listing. So listing the main groups and subgroups under the main groups. How it is listing is, all the main groups will be shown from the beginning. From the beginning, all the main groups are shown. What are the main groups totally? 15. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So all the main groups here listed here. Here they are showing it alphabetical. Here we are showing as per the showing as the balance sheet, profit and loss account. But here it is showing this anywhere. It is showing the alphabetical. That's why first it is showing branch division. Okay. So all the main groups, total 15 main groups. Our main groups will be shown. Yeah, main groups will be shown from the beginning. From the beginning. And then the secondary groups are there. The secondary groups will be under the main groups. That is why Under the main groups, after some gap, it is showing the secondary groups. You see here, reserves and surplus. You see here, the capital account, reserves and surplus, loans account, secured loans like that, reserves and surplus, current assets, bank current assets, is showing in the alphabetical order. Bank account, cash in hand, deposits, loans and advances, stock in hand, sundry debtors, under the current assets, you see, under the current assets, all is available. So they are shown here separately. So some gap they will show, and these are called the secondary groups, these are called the main groups. And current liabilities, these are the second groups. And for this expenses incomes, they don't have subgroups, fixed assets, in the, these are all these, all up to this, all these don't have the secondary group. Then loans, liability. So here subgroups and miscellaneous expenses, then purchase account, sales account, don't have any groups. And then they don't have any subgroups, suspense account, they don't have subgroups. All these are main groups, these subgroups are. Okay, so it is here, it is showing that. If you want to see the groups, so if you want to see the groups, it is showing main groups and subgroups. If you go to ledgers, ledgers will be created under subgroups. That means main groups, subgroups, under the subgroups, ledgers will be there. So if you go to this display page, this is display page. I mean, sorry, chart of account. You go here, you go to ledgers. So here it will show as well assets, liabilities, then income, expenses it is showing, and also here same thing here from the beginning main groups will be shown. After some gap, this secondary groups will be shown, and below that under the secondary groups you create the ledgers. Under that again after some gap the ledgers will be shown, but these main groups and subgroups, all the groups will be very in a dark way, that is bold letters. But these ledgers will be light color, in light color. Ledgers will be in light color, and also the letters will be italic letters. See, cash, there are only two ledgers, cash and profit and loss account. There are two ledgers only. These two ledgers are shown in italic way, in light color. For example, if you create a ledger, for example, computer we purchase. So computer will show it in the fixed assets. So in the fixed assets, if you create that, see here, now we will see. So if you go chart of accounts, go to ledgers, see here, main groups, subgroups. So computer comes under purchases. Under the fixed assets, there is no subgroup. So under the fixed assets, so computer is created. So the ledger is shown in italic letters, like in light color, under the fixed assets, like that. If you take only groups, main groups and subgroups will be shown. You go to take ledgers, main groups, subgroups, and then under the groups, the ledgers which you create, these will be shown. Okay, and then here currency is only one, and then go to voucher types. So they are showing the vouchers here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So there it is showing the 20 in the display page, first page. Here it is showing, see here, in this case, we go to alter. In this case only they are showing 20. We go to chart of accounts, it is showing all the 24. All the 24 they are showing. And these types of voucher types will be available in some other place also, because all the vouchers will be shown here. Some vouchers will be shown here out of this, and all others will be shown in other vouchers, other masters. There it will show. Okay, like this it will show the vouchers now. So this is about the what we call, this is about the accounting masters, groups, ledgers, and the currency and voucher type. We have to create the transactions, record the transaction in the voucher types. For recording the transaction, we require ledgers. And create the ledgers for accounting masters, and for goods, we require goods inventory masters. So the inventory masters will go later, but we are dealing with accounting masters. So to create the accounting ledger, we have to create accounting ledger. For example, just now we created computer. When I creating the computer, for every ledger, we have to place that ledger under one group. So all the groups will be shown when you are creating, for example, when you are creating a ledger, Indian ledger, for example, XXX or XXX or YYY, whatever it may be here. So this is the name of the ledger, and here under means under the group. What is the group? Under. So the list of groups, all the groups will be shown in a line. That is, the list will be shown. Then we have to select. For example, here Ramu is we are selling goods to him. He is a debtor. So we have to select him as SGN if we click sundry debtor. So we have to select sundry debtor. For example, we are purchasing from him. Then you will be a credit card. Then we click SGN to show sundry debtors, will show sundry creditors. Like that. For every ledger, we have to place under every ledger. We have to place under one group. So at the time of next out is that create the ledger to make to work in the to record the transactions. We have to create the ledgers, and then if you have goods also, then you have to create the inventory masters. So their accounting masters are required for every business, but these inventory masters are required only for the businesses which deal with the goods. If you don't have any goods servicing, in such a case, there will be no goods, only accounting masters will be required. Inventory masters are required when we are dealing with the goods, that we will take up later. Okay. So like this, we discussed completely about the grouping of ledgers. So 28 default groups, primary 15, 13 secondary, and ledgers, there will be two ledgers. Okay, two ledgers, and what you call vouchers, there will be, said there are default voucher types will be 24. Okay. So when you are going to record the transaction, first you have to create the ledgers, and how to create the ledgers. When I am creating the ledger, this is grouping of ledger, then create the ledger. We have to create the ledgers. How you create? Just like company, you create the ledger, display, you can see the ledger, which is created on alter page. You can also make alteration. It is also called edit or modify. And if you don't want a ledger, you can delete the ledger also. This we will take up in the next video. So with this, today's our what we call default groups, ledgers, and voucher types. This is all completed. Okay. With this, we close this web. We will meet in the next video regarding the creation of the ledgers. That is the first step. This is what we are going to record the transaction. The first step is we have to create the ledgers. Then only we have to create. So in the ledgers, that means in the accounts only we have a debit account, credit account. That's called account that's a debit account and credit account. We have to debit one account, credit one account. Please, account is called as ledger. We have to debit one ledger, credit one ledger. That's what we have to take. With this, I close this class. Meet in the next video. All the best. Thank you. Bye.